Hey everyone. Some of you might have seen my recent video where I purchased a Vault box and I got this really cool coin, 2023 1/10 Anza Mexican coin. Very nice coin, graded by NGCX, not NGC, NGCX. What's the difference, you ask? Well, they don't use the Sheldon scale. That's 1 to 70. They use a modified 1 to 10 scale. So as you can see, this coin is considered perfect, but it's not a PF 70. It's a proof 10, like scale of 1 to 10, 10 being perfect. Um, for those of you who aren't familiar with this, the reason why they did this was their hope that they could, I guess, kind of attract people to the hobby who are more used to um, the 10-point grading scale of sports cards, comic books, trading card games, and all that stuff. And they figured they'd make a conversion. So when I saw that I received the Vault box, they threw this conversion chart in with the Vault box, which I felt was very helpful because I thought I had, when NGCX came out, I did a fair amount of reading about it. I didn't have any NGCX coins, but I wanted to familiarize myself with it a little bit. So as far as, the 8s and the 9s, they're pretty self-explanatory, but when you get down to some of the lower grades, it's a little different. So right here we have, like, say, MS70 is a 10. Okay? And then if you're 69, you're 9.9. 68, 9.8. 67, 9.7. So basically, if you're a 60-something, you're a 9-point-something. If you're a 58, you're an 8.8. You're a 55, you're an 8.5. You're a 53, you're an 8.3. Now, that's pretty easy to understand. As you go down, though, we have a 7.5 for XF45, 7 for XF40, 6.5 for VF35, 6 for VF30, 5.5 for VF20, 5 for 5.5 for VF25, 5 for VF20, 4.5 for Fine 15, 4 for Fine 12, 3.5 for VG10, 3 for VG8, 2.5 for G6, 2 for G4, 1.5 for AG3, 1.5 for Fair 2, and 1 for Poor. I just realized that there's no difference between 2 and 3. Oh, that's kind of stupid. I didn't realize that till just now. Huh. So I kind of have a low opinion of NGCX, and that just lowered it a little bit more. Very interesting. When I read stuff about NGCX, the rationale behind it was that there were a lot of people who are involved with other hobbies, and they wanted to attract those people to the hobby. So what they did was they had a grading scale that would be easy for them to understand. Because you know that if you have a 10 on a baseball card, it's gem mint. And if you have 10 on a coin, it's, well, gem mint, I guess. Um, I guess they figured that learning 1 to 70 is just too darn hard for them to fathom. That kind of bugs me because I kind of feel like you're catering to the casual person in the lowest common denominator. And I could see how that makes sense if you're trying to kind of pull as many people in as possible and you want to make as much money as possible, so you make things understandable. But the whole idea just kind of bothers me. I don't know. I usually with stuff I try to learn things about stuff I'm interested in, things about stuff that I'm interested in. So when I first got into coins years back, I learned what the Sheldon scale was, and I learned all the interesting stuff and what the numbers meant and whatnot. And I just feel like, why should you bother changing things for people who are too lazy to learn the hobby? Because if somebody's too lazy to realize the difference between a 60 and a 50, I don't feel like we should bend over backwards for them. And I got to tell you, I really don't see this taking off I mean, I could see NGCX doing it, NGC, I should say. But do you really think anyone else is going to, any other places are going to abandon the Sheldon scale after all these decades and say, you know what, let's go with this? And the interesting thing is, before this video, I was doing a little reading on the NGCX website, and while they say that, let's say for example, you have an MS63, that's a 9.3. So what they're trying to say is a 9.3 is an MS63. If you have an NGCX that's MS63, as of today, according to the NGCX website, you cannot add that to a registry set. Why? Isn't it the same thing? If it is, why can't you? If it isn't, then why is there a conversion chart? Doesn't really make sense. Unless it's not the same. I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of old-fashioned, and you know, for those of you who say, "Oh, it's not a bad idea," I think it's pretty interesting. It's a cool idea. Okay. Now my question for you is this: you have a $10,000 coin. You like NGC. Are you submitting it to the regular NGC level, or are you sending it to NGCX? I'm waiting. Probably going to send it to regular NGC. And the reason why is because at some point in the future, you might want to sell it. And while a casual coin collector might not notice or know about or care about the difference between a 9.3 and a 63, if it's, I don't know, it's some newish kind of coin, they are not going to probably pull out 10 grand out of their pocket to buy a 10 grand coin if it's graded a 9.3. They want to see a 63. They want to see it by NGC or PCGS or one of those companies, maybe CAC. They want to see a well-known company with a regular MS grade on it. A lot of these people who pony up a lot of cash, they want them either for investment, they want them for registry sets. They're not going to spend money on something that is not only like kind of a new thing, like the NGCX, but that's so outside the ordinary and so outside, you know, like what's acceptable, like for auction ratings and stuff. Because I think NGCX is basically admitting here that there's not a one-to-one, because if there were a one-to-one, they'd allow them in registry sets, and they're just not. They're not allowed in registry sets. So there are some differences there. Same thing for population reports. I was reading, now this did look a little bit dated on the website, but they were saying as of the writing of this blurb on the NGCX website that population reports are only going to have NGC and not NGCX. Why? I would think that there'd be a combination of, you know, the two of them broken down, then maybe like, you know, break them out a little bit and how many are NGC, how many are NGCX. If they are the same, right? Right? Well, maybe it's not the same. And then, like I said, you know, by doing something like this, you're catering to like the fringe people in the hobby. A lot of people who are on the fringe aren't even going to really pay for grading fees. And they're not going to go crazy buying these kind of coins. They're the kind of people who might see like a silver eagle and say, "Oh, that's pretty cool," and it's, you know, graded a 6.9. Wow, you got your graded 69 eagle for like a few dollars over melt. And, you know, I don't know. It's just kind of a waste to me. I certainly wouldn't send anything to NGCX. I don't know if any of you would, but it just I don't know. It's stupid. Like, we already have this established grading method, and originally I thought I had read that it was just supposed to be modern coins, but now I'm seeing that they're actually putting it on like a lot of older coins, which I think is really an abomination. And I got to be honest with you, I was thinking, now this isn't a problem I had, but I was thinking if I had gotten the vault box and I had gotten a really nice older coin, I think I would have probably submitted it someplace else for grading. Because I think, let's see, they had the 93S Morgan. I got to tell you, I think a 93S Morgan graded, I think the one they had was like 8.5, which is like an AU55. I really think a PCGS AU55 is worth more than an NGCX 85. And if you don't think so, ask yourself this. If you had that kind of money to spend on a coin, and you had both options, and both coins seemed like pretty good coins, which one are you going to buy? Are you going to buy the NGCX 85, 8.5, excuse me, or are you going to buy the PCGS, or even the NGC, or the CAC 55? I'd rather get the tried and true scale, because that's going to have the most big money people and established coin collectors who are behind it, not the NGCX. Anyway, enough pontificating from me. I will talk to you later. If you like this kind of video, I would definitely appreciate the thumbs up. Have a good one.